this layout for a minute. Okay, there we go. All right, so should be live everywhere. Yes, we are live. Hey everyone, I'm your host, Robert Silver, asking a question in each episode, Am I Crazy? Now, what we're going to be talking about is what you've been thinking. This is the podcast that says it all. So, you may like it, you may not. I don't know. It's really up to you. Either way, we will be talking about it. Now, this week, I have a special guest with me, a friend. And if you've seen my podcast before, then you already know him. But before we get to him, let's do some get all this commercial stuff out the way. So make sure you head on over to our um, um, Instagram, our Twitter, Facebook, etc. At Am I Krazy? That's crazy with a K. And drop a follow, a like, or a subscribe on our YouTube channel. Um, Also, you can see we're streaming on all major platforms, just in case you want to take us on the go on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, and Amazon Music. So now let's get to our guest. You heard him before in the previous episode. My homie, Derek.
What's up? What's up? D Rock in the building.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Reporting live from the street being streets. So, but thanks for jumping on board with me this week. I know we've had kind of playing with schedules, but this topic I felt needs to be said. Okay.
All right, let's
Um
get to it.
Yes. So this week we're going to be just asking the question, do Black lives matter to Black people? That's right. I said it. Deal with it. Okay.
Hmm.
Now a few things have been going on or has gone on that has got me scratching my head. Or at least the culture that I'm noticing is going in certain directions that I think are almost self-destructive, quite honestly. Now, I'm not saying everything that's happening nowadays is self-destructing, but definitely more than ever, not only are certain characteristics and culture activities, or at least that's what we consider Black culture, or some do, are self-destructive, but not and are actually dragging us back, taking us back, and that's pretty scary. So today, let's talk about some of those things because if we're going to tell other people, do Black Lives Matter, we need to make sure that Black Lives Matter to us, right?
Hmm.
I, I think so. So, Derek, uh, there are so many. Like when I was making this list, I'll be quite honest. Like this list was getting longer and longer in terms of what areas of lifestyle were in which that I noticed self-destructive behavior. Right. Let's start
Mhm.
with the first thing. This is obvious. Music.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. That's why I had to lean back like that. Music. Now, African Americans, especially the past hundred so years, um, have a very interesting relationship when it comes to our expression of music in America specifically. Right. Let's not talk about Africa. We're talking about in America in our experience here.
Mhm.
And our music is truly defined, like it's part of what makes us unique as far as people in this country. It's a direct reflection to our particular moment in time, what we're faced, what we're up against, um, what access to, how can I say, social, political, um, 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 how can I say, status and that and elevation and our access to resources. Either way, music has it plays an extremely pivotal role to us specifically.
Mhm.
And so as we've evolved, obviously it's reflected through our music. And that goes for any other race too. I'm not saying we're special, but we're talking about African American experience. And especially back in slave time, our music hid a lot of messaging, whether it be um, how to escape, uh, songs of hope, and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So we have a rebel. We're rebellious people, especially after getting out of slavery, and we have this, and that can be a beautiful thing. Black people are rebellious, but it's gotten to the point where I feel like the music um, celebrates and glorifies particular activities that does not make us us, but yet at the same time we're almost hypnotically supporting it as if with some sort of pride or something. I'm not sure. Like how it seems like we're dancing on a very fine line of yes, this is us, this is our thing, but yet at the same time, if we look at it, no other culture is really glorifying even the negative aspects of their activity through their music like we do. I guess country does in a sense, but I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
I guess
I
country
don't
does
see
too.
when I see when I listen to country music, I don't listen to it all the time. It's not like my genre or anything like that, but, when I hear country music, I don't I mean, I guess they are kinda, you know, following the lines, but it's not really, like, really out there, you know what I'm saying? It's not, following what's the it's not really following what people are actually like doing as far as like
Mm,
changing the whole culture. You know, when you look at black history and you think about music and as far as our culture, you think about jazz where it started. And jazz started in like the 1920s, right? And that was all about improv
yeah.
and and dancing and it wasn't about the things that they're talking about now. It's more it seems like now more of the mainstream thing is following the lines of like feminist rhetoric, you know?
What do you
The
mean? What do you mean?
the 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 openness, the body positivity, the sexual liberation of feminism,
Oh,
the like I'm free, I'm equal, I can say whatever I want. Of course, m rap, um, as far as males, yeah, that was still pretty bad, but not many people I'm not saying not many people, but I'm just saying not many our culture didn't really follow that as far as, like, you going
mm.
out and you wanna be like, NWA and then trying to do everything that they doing. We just
It
listen to their stories and then it's an inspiration because they can actually talk about the things that they actually been through. But now it's more and they even say it's more lies than anything. And people can be like, oh yeah, they're telling a story, even though it's lies, but it's got a beat, it's got a ring, I can rap to it, some parts of it is a part of my life, but when you think about the other things, people are kind of like saying, hey, if certain things are part of my life that they're rapping about, what about the other things? Maybe the other
mm.
things that I can kind of get into, but I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I understand. I like where you're going with the jazz because that jazz is a good example of us creating a music style, literally
Hmm.
that reflects us at that particular time period, right?
Hmm.
It's improvisational. A lot of artists at that time didn't have the money to go to classic schools or whatever. They just learned and they created as they went. And it was
Hmm.
rebellious because jazz came out of like big band, and before big band it was orchestra and operas and stuff like that. So like jazz is a perfect American genre that black people created through the challenges they were facing. And yes, rap is very much like that, especially out of the 80s, the late 70s, 80s, and crack epidemic and everything else. Hip
Hmm.
hop was that form of expression that directly reflected what we're going through. But now I feel, yes, with the sexual liberation, which is all great to be, feel empowered and everything, but it's also taking things to another direction where it's almost formed a wedge between men and women in a sense. And it's not about
Hmm.
being weak, like, oh, you just don't like a strong woman. No, 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 no. I think it's like, it's almost, and this goes for the men too. It's gotten to the point where as if certain things that make a community are discarded for individualism. I think it's made us more
Hmm.
individual. Uh, you know what I mean? Prioritizing being an individual versus a unit, not only a family but a community, etc. And we're a community only when a cop kills one of us, only when some sort of travesty and calamity comes about. Now we're tightly bound as a community. Does that make sense? And
Hmm.
the music really exploits, um, exploits our, how can I say, our need to want to have something access because we've been locked out of having access to basic resources. Let's say real estate, jobs, etc. And now this way gives a lot of people who once never had money a lot of it, and then glorifying that one individual that does have it, and then shitting on everybody else who doesn't. Again, we glorifying the individual rather than um, the unit, which in our case is black people. Now, being only 12%, I don't see how that makes any sense for us as a community to be individualistic when there's really not that much of us. Latinos are outgrowing everybody. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, our white brethrens in this country, they still dominate powerful positions. They're unlocked. So with that said, it's like, and more black people are, or at least men, are dating interracially. A good 15% of them or so. So it's like, if anything, we need to do whatever we can to stick together and to um, celebrate sticking together, celebrate looking out for each other on a more than just marching for another dead man shot. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
you
just
you
feel like,
talking about taking pride in a family, in a family unit, in a nuclear family.
yeah, I guess the older I'm getting, the more I see the power in a family unit.
Hmm.
Because there's no community without a family. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of individuals living next to each other, and then we continuing to exist as if I'm gonna get mine, you better get yours. That's not sustainable.
Hmm.
It's just not sustainable. And we don't have the we don't have the the privilege or the comfort to be able to do that. Really, we don't have the power um to really flex that kind of naiveness, if that makes any sense. We're only 12% at max at best.
Hmm.
We're not going to sway a vote like that unless it's a Democratic vote, and then the women outvote us anyway. Compared to the men, we go both ways. Some of us are conservative and don't say it. You know, so I feel like music exploits the negative aspects of the black culture. That's one for goddamn thing. Like the whole thought and the WAP and everything.
Hmm.
There's no way I want my 15-year-old daughter talking about wet ass pussy. What? Like what? Nicki
But
Minaj.
is
But
it actually individualism though? Is it being individual if you're talking about the same thing everybody else is talking about?
is it in? Well, yeah, because you're talking about exactly what are you guys all a robot? Well, I guess. Well,
Because
if you
if you're
can't think
talking
for
about
yourself,
individual problems. If you can't,
Okay.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you can't think for yourself and you're following everybody else, then how
Oh,
are
okay.
we
Copy
like
that.
really
Copy that. Copy that.
individuals? Yeah, they
Well, I
if
guess what I mean by that is like, okay, what I mean by individuals, and because a lot of times that, at least from, what's just being put out there and pushed, it's basically, I got mine. Look how I got mine. And if you ain't got what I ain't got time for you. And you can go kiss this. And too bad. I'm going to get mine. And most of the time, the victims that they mention in their songs are going to be um, other black people.
yeah.
So, so that's what I mean by the individualistic, and or even what do you call it? Selfish nature, etc.
Mhm.
It's almost celebrated to be selfish. Like, I'm gonna keep all mine right here. Now, I'm not saying those rappers do it when the camera's off. You know what I mean? I'm sure
Mhm.
some of them give, etc. But the songs itself, like what makes money, the messaging that's behind it, is not really conducive to a strong community that I know of. And no matter how wet the pussy is. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean, does that make? Do you
It
not
makes
see
it.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes
Or
sense. It makes sense, but at the same time, when I think of it, I think of like you can't do it yourself. Nobody can do it themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
you could how can you follow the same things that they're saying on the radio and then at the same time be like, "Oh yeah, it's I'm gonna do things all by myself, this and that." But you saying the same thing that they're saying. So are you gonna take responsibility for what's going on around you, or are you gonna take responsibility for things that you're hearing from somebody else? So
mhm.
how is that individualism? You know,
Well,
so
I'm saying
I feel
individual
I feel
because
like people are following. They're following like sheep to some extent, instead
okay.
of kind of just like seeing exactly what's going on in their own lives, uh, the people that they have in their own lives, and then kind of just understanding like, hey, you know what? This person over here is not good for me, and that's not going to mix well with the person that I actually met the other day, which is a person
Mhm,
that actually is going to help me. You
mhm.
know.
Well,
Um,
I guess I mean by individual is that, like, a lot of times, like, who we the music, well, celebrates the individual, right? Which is fine,
yeah.
like me. It's me, 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 me. That's what I mean
Mhm.
by individual. Not in the
Yeah,
sense,
yeah,
I see what you mean, but I also see your point. It's like, it can't, how individual, when we're all following like sheep, then that's clearly a
yeah.
collective. But we're a collective all thinking about me, 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 me. I gotta get mine, and you better
Mhm,
get yours.
mhm.
And matter of fact, if I think you're getting yours better, I might take it. So it's like, so that's what I
Or I don't
mean
want you
by,
to have it.
yeah, or I don't want you to have it, and why should you have it when I don't? So that's what I mean
Yeah,
by individualistic nature.
right.
Um, kind of snaky in a sense. And so that's what I mean by the music. Now, I'm not saying all of it's bad, right? I'm not saying
Mhm.
that, but there are some songs that I love the beat, right? The beat's awesome, and I get it. They hook you in with the beat. The beat's
Yeah.
dope, it's hitting. But then listen to the lyrics, I'm like, God damn.
This is
Like,
not
damn,
censored
bro.
anymore. It's not
Like,
censored.
yeah. Especially if it's like your third or fourth album. I'm like, bro, you're good. You're good. You're good. You don't need to double down on the life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're good, man. You ain't even living near the hood. You living so good. You don't, your tongue doesn't even allow you to spell hood. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I'm just curious. There's a profit. There's obviously a profit
Mhm.
to continuously um, reinforce this particular messaging through our music specifically.
They know it's bad. The artists know it's bad. They just get paid for it. It's not something that if they had a choice really to actually go out and say like, hey, you know what,
And
I'm
make
gonna
money,
say
the same
something
money off of
different.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if I was if they were to tell the truth, if they were to tell like, you know, how it is, or what actually got them there, then they wouldn't make money because that's not who's paying them. The people that are paying them are actually telling them to do, or telling them to say, hey, or they might even come to them with like 4 or 5 tracks or something like that, and
Mm,
just say
mm.
like, here, here's what I have, and they're like, no, I don't want those. I want to hear this one. I want to hear WAP. I want to put that. I want to put that on the radio. It's like, but
So,
I'm talking about like over here. I'm talking about like putting together the community, talking about the family, talking about the relationship that I had that was good. How come you didn't want to hear that one? No, I want to hear I want to hear the WAP, you know. And and
okay.
they're conditioned to do that all the time, you know, because they're getting paid for it now.
Well, that leads me into what I was saying was like, to the original question of this episode in general, like, do Black lives matter to Black people? And I'm not saying that like Black people hate it. I hate themselves and hate other Black people. But what I'm saying is like, if you know, but yet join because you can benefit and will benefit mightily and be compensated for it, then you have to ask yourself that question. Am I wrong or am I right? Do Black lives
Mhm.
matter to Black people? And that's exactly why I'm asking this question. So hold on one second. Okay, let's let's talk about something else now. Let's get into something a little different, right?
Mhm.
Um, let's talk about the language that we use, and specifically, right, the N word. Okay. Now this is an interesting topic. I know a lot of people love that word more than ever. Okay. I get it. I totally get it. Okay. I personally don't really use it a whole lot, but to each his own. You know what I mean? I'm not trying
Yeah.
to police people's tongues, but let's just talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about our language and how that reflects how we feel about ourselves, right? Because language is pretty powerful. Um, let's talk about how we talk to each other. Now, when we said we are the only race of people, this caught me. Somebody said this. We're the only race that uses a derogatory name to one another,
Mhm.
right? Either it's for camaraderie, that's my nigga, or to hate somebody, that stupid nigga. So help me understand. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What Why do you
I
think
mean,
that is?
I think it just depends on environment. You know, you go out to like certain parts of like the hood and whatnot, then you know you hear it all the time. That's a part of your language. It's
But
almost
why
automatic.
do you think that the N word has become so normalized when the original meaning, at least in American context, was used to not only categorize us, but to enslave us in many ways to other people, like, oh, that's a nigga, or nigger
Yeah,
in their case. But like, just because we say nigga, like it's supposed to come from something different or something. I don't know. Like it doesn't.
yeah.
So,
It started basically to try to take away that word, that the power from the word, to I mean, back in the day, that word really triggered us
uh-huh.
in a way that we were like, put us down. It caused a lot of mental anguish in the community. So I guess they decided to just like, hey, you know what, we're gonna try to take that power away, and we're gonna try to add a little flair to it, and
Gotcha.
then that became something we use as a term of endearment, to kind of uh it was us, you know what I'm saying, it was us, it wasn't anywhere else. You don't go out to other countries and then you hear that unless they heard it from Americans that they were calling us
You saying
that word,
oh, the
um,
ER or the A?
the er. So
Gotcha.
when we changed it to the a, then that kind of took to us, that kind of changed it, flipped it,
Like
turned it in something, and
took
took
the
the
negative
power
power
away.
away from it.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Just like how
Okay.
they say, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the word slut away, like they do the slut walks and stuff like that. That takes the power away.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But really, like, it's still not good. It's still
Uh,
not good. And you go into a corporate setting and you got that automatic, like,
oh, yeah,
you
you
can't
have to
really
almost
stop
swallow
it.
that back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
So
can't
I'm
stop
trying.
it. It's just it's still in there.
So how? Let me ask you: does it benefit us from incorporating that into our normal dialect? You know what I mean? Like, on,
No, I think it prevents us from connecting with other races.
so you're
I think.
saying it may be cool between us,
Hmm.
but from everyone else, it's actually they see it as it they see it differently. You're saying, even
Yeah,
though
and
we
then
tell
what
them,
you when you see it with us going around and we saying it, and then when somebody else say that that's not our race, we want to get offended by it, and that's stupid. You put it in
I
rap
thought that.
songs. You
Yeah, I
put it in
know,
rap songs, and you got people out there that are white,
rapping everything except the
Hispanics.
yeah,
Yeah, like how you gonna take that away? How you gonna, like,
yeah.
people that buy your music, that go out and then they celebrate you, and then they can't say it, but you say it like 1,000 times in your lyrics? Come on now.
No, you're very. I always thought that was interesting too. It's like, how do you, does it? It's got to cut both ways. Therefore, I rather just not say it at all and not
Yeah,
allow even the chance for someone to just be like, "Hey, nigga," like, what? And
yeah.
like I said, it's just interesting that we've adopted this word to our vernacular, right? That on one hand can be super negative, and on the other hand, it can be very endearing, right? I love my
Mhm.
niggas, and I just don't. I've never really 100% understood. I understand why people like it in the sense that, like, I guess it's just part of the culture.
Inclusivity. It's like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
exclusive. It's like, oh yeah, I'm
Part of the
going
club.
out. This is my people. We
Yeah,
can share this together. We can share a part of history together.
yeah. There's a
But
commonality when we both say it that no
mhm.
one else is allowed in, which I get, but at the same time I often think like,
How is it a switch when somebody else say it? Like, how do you
well,
even recognize it if it's so automatic? How do you even
uh-huh.
recognize it if somebody else is saying it? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well,
You know.
I'm just curious what other people when they look outside in, like, damn,
Mhm,
they call themselves niggas all damn day. Like, how does that make sense? You know what I mean?
mhm. And they know
And
where it came from.
yeah, they're like, damn, y'all did all this effort to not be slaves, etc., and rose yourself up in
Yeah.
society, and you're still a nigga. Damn. Okay. I mean, that's what you're telling us. You're educating us. You saying you still niggas. You just some rich niggas now. So,
Yeah.
but so yeah, that's why I always wonder. Like, language is so important, right? We obviously get mad with the er.
Mhm,
Women get mad with the bitch word or cunt
mhm,
or something like that. We all get mad for
mhm.
whatever we get mad about, right?
It's a trigger.
Yeah. So, why
It's
would
a
we?
trauma response.
Absolutely, and people have right to be mad at what they're mad about and
Yeah.
don't like what they don't like. I'm just so fascinated how we've adopted this word, and just because we put some twang to it, um, because it really came from because a lot of us were illiterate and didn't have a high school education, and it was like nigga, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like when we say
Super
brother,
country.
we're not saying brother,
Yeah.
right? So you're not fooling me, goddamn it, it's nigga. You know what I mean? But at the
Mhm.
same time, no, it just fascinates me, man. I don't know what to say about it. Hopefully we could figure that out. Until then, I don't know what to say about that one. Um, what other language? I think that's really the most striking one that we use, huh?
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? That same concept slipped into to the feminine to the females when they call each other's bitch all damn day. But if I
Mm-hmm.
call them bitch, I get bitch. I might get bitch slapped. So it's like, but does that make sense? What I'm saying? Like, um,
Yeah.
that's
But if
another
they
one.
really if
Bitch.
they really
Oh, them
acting
y'all
like one,
bitches.
then it's like, damn, you can't
Damn,
say
you
it.
acting like a bitch. You know. And so maybe that's just language. I could be wrong. This could be a little rant or whatever, but I'm just really interested. I'm fascinated why we just
But you
love
know
being
why you
niggas.
say it. You know why
But
you say it.
oh, bit.
Because
Oh,
we
yeah,
angry. We
yeah. Like,
angry.
but I'm just saying that logic applies to the N word,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
fascinates me how much we've not only adopted it. It's like part of our vernacular. Like that's how Black people talk.
Mhm.
And boy, I don't know. I don't think that's I don't think that's the bright side of us. You know what I'm saying? Not
I
at
mean,
all.
it's so intertwined now that it's like it just takes a collective effort to just make a decision to stop, just not to do it, just not to say it.
Let me help you out.
It's
Let me
gonna
help you
carry
out.
us
Not to be
until
well. Hold on now. Hold on. Niggas ain't gonna have that. So I just had to put that out there. That's not gonna work. All right, let's get to the next thing we want to talk about. Well, I had to get that off my chest. I'm not gonna lie. So, um, let's talk about relationships.
Mhm.
Mm, let's talk about it. I mean, between Black men, Black women, as a people, relationships. Okay. Now, I'm not talking
Mhm.
about friends and buddies from high school. No, let's talk about our sexual relationships. Um, First, obviously, we are the not obvious if you didn't know, but we are the um, 1 out of 4 Black women will be married in their lifetime. I mean, 75% will not. Um, our We suffer from the very high divorce rates out of that 25%. You know, mostly initiated by women, but that's in general though. But definitely in
Mhm.
this context, highest single motherhood. Holy cow! We'll get to that. And the so-called missing fathers myth. I wouldn't
Mhm.
say myth, but you know, the whole propaganda behind that.
I mean, it's
But let's
relationships.
exactly. So let's start with the marriage part. Why do you think? Like, man, I never hear it. I just don't. I like once in a while I'll see something on LinkedIn, and but why don't we talk about being or getting married? What do you think that is? Like back in the day, that was a thing. Like you're dating to marry, you
I
know?
mean, it is when you talk about church. If you have a bunch of people, that if you go to the churches, that's what they talk about. They don't talk about not
Well,
getting married.
God rest his soul, but Kevin Samuels talk about the church. It's the one
Yeah,
place you'll see a lot less men in, a lot more single mother in the church.
that's
So
because the men are pushing other men out.
you think so? Okay, break that down.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
As far as like the pastors, they get a lot of um they get a lot of the attention. The women that go to the church, they're not there really for the men's. They want to get the men that are the closest to God. So pastor is the head of the other men, but they don't teach the other men to be that place in the family that is the closest to God to lead the family.
Mm,
So when you get outside of church, um, you get people that are just kind of just going, their own way. They kind of just doing things to, you know, push what they have going, push what they have to make up for what they have going on in their own life. They're pretty selfish. Um, and it balances the problem with society now, especially the black community. Um, but yeah, that's just a little bit of my thoughts on why people aren't getting married.
Well,
But you got to look into the church. You got to look to church in order for you to actually understand that, and then you got to look into the book to actually understand what marriage actually means to the family and the leadership. We don't have that many male leaders in a black community. We kind of just have
you think that that
males
has
that,
something to do with
yeah,
lowering marriage rates?
yeah, because since it's so uh since there's so much freedom for women don't have the incentive to stay, and then there's more actually incentive to leave the family, and
Mm,
then
mm.
in the children are being raised by the mother. So there's men that are raised by women, and you know they can't really learn from a woman how to be a man. The only way you can actually learn how to the basic structure of being a man is to actually have a man in a household.
Okay. Well, honestly, I will not complain about argue with that. And being that I had a daughter, I understood even my limitations as much as I loved her, how much I can teach her to how to be a woman, That's
Mhm.
that's up to mom and grandma and all the women in the
Exactly.
family. So no,
Mhm.
110%. Um, I think, slowly the decay of the male role in the household from the 50s and 60s all the way up until now with welfare, etc., by women benefiting from it by not having the man in the house played to it. And then the older generation saw how tough it was. And then the next generation saw how tough it was and said, I don't want that,
Mhm.
which meant I don't want a marriage. I don't
Right.
want a man in my life
Mm.
because he's not going to be there. And it's easier if I just don't have him there in the first place. And the only stories a lot of kids got, and even to today, are one sided, mostly only women's perspective about how the relationship decayed and how
Yo
he
daddy
never
ain't
was
shit. Yo daddy ain't
exactly.
never
That's
there.
right. And go figure, that TikTok video that just went viral of the one man that was trying to bring his food to his kid, and he was with some
Oh
woman that
man.
who had three other kids, and she got. Did you see that video? You did? Did you see the
I
video or
seen
no?
us. I seen a piece of it, and then I had to just shut it off because that's
Oh yeah,
negative.
she went wild. She went wild. Why he didn't bring food for all of her other kids? He said, "Where's the other baby
Yeah.
daddies?" So,
Hmm.
and she's like, I don't get paid to this. I don't get food stamps to the seventh. I mean, it was crazy. So that kind of mentality, and of course, what did he do? He left her. Okay,
Hmm.
and guess what? The kid's gonna hear, "Your dad's no good. He left you." Da, 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 da." And it's just like she took the food he brought and threw it onto the curb. And that was for the boy, for their son that they had together. He only had one with her. Anyway, but just imagine all the untold stories the kids never hear. So they grow up with this thing, especially if it's a young girl. Oh my God, I'm never gonna get married if he's gonna treat me like that. If he treat mom
You know
like
what's
that.
crazy about the food
Does that make
being thrown out of the street is the
hmm
fact that you can't that's a whole video, and you can't bring that to court to say like, hey, I spent this money for my kids, but she wants more from the child support office.
Well, I'm
Like
not they were
I
dating at the time, but that video went viral. She can't get that off the internet anymore. Everybody's commented on it. But other podcasts like, media MTR,
MTR, yeah.
um Fresh and Fit, all those guys, they already talked about it. So trust and believe she is that people dogged her out. But the
Mhm.
point is, uh about the marriage. Oh, this is what I want to say. Look, where in our music do we glorify being married and finding the one? Does that make sense? Like,
I mean,
bro,
they
we really
had
do
back in the
not.
day.
Well, back in the day
Uh, well, not
when I
back in the
was
day.
young.
I would say like the '90s. They were talking about it. they Jagged Edge,
Oh
like the old like music,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
uh, the
You don't hear
'90s
any.
and the '80s music. You don't hear that no
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
That was the best. That was the time. That's where like everybody like at least keep one of those songs from the '90s, the
Baby
early
making
'90s
music.
and the '80s, and yeah,
Hmm. No, you're right
like
about
it
that.
completely changed. It's like what happened in between the time that happened and then now what happened? And I would say like TLC got in there with the No Scrubs, and then they got the what do you call it? The
Put a ring on it.
Destiny's Child.
That's part of it
Yeah,
too.
it's like it changed from
All the single
like a
ladies.
relationship to like, oh, like I don't need a dude, I don't need a man. Uh, I'm gonna make my own money. You know what I'm saying? We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
push
think
these
also.
dudes to the curb.
Yeah, it's a combination of social elevation too. It's like, oh, I can do for
Yeah.
me now. And then my favorite artist is literally reinforcing why I don't need you. And then at the end of the day, they end up, you know, married a lot less married. And a lot of them think it's better to have a kid and not be married and raise a kid by themselves.
Hmm.
I went on a date, right? Over a month ago. And she was 28, right? And she was dating someone for 4 years, breaks up with him. A month later, she finds out she's pregnant by him. Okay. Then still decides to have the kid. They're already broken up. They're done. They went their ways. Still decides to have the kid with them. And I said, and I'm like, at 28, in my mind, I'm thinking, how does that make sense? Like, why would I? Maybe she's pro not abortion, right? That could be a thing.
Yeah,
But
that's
the
a.
other
I
side
would.
to me,
I
I just
could
don't
say.
see the logic and
Mhm.
the difficulties in putting yourself in a position. You're only 27, 28, rest
That's
of
the
your life
thing.
ahead of you. You can have a baby with a man who is excited. Um, you're putting a huge financial burden on you. Educationally, it's going to be harder to go back to school, and financially, and I just don't see the benefit. I don't see the benefit. I don't see the
That's
logic in it.
that's the
But
thing.
women will choose
Uh,
this lifestyle.
yeah. When I heard about that Roe versus Wade thing to being overturned, I
Hmm.
was like, this will go back and then have younger women actually think about the people that they actually going to have kids with, because like I can
I thought
understand
about that too. I
like
thought about that too.
I I don't have like I'm not a woman, so I can't have a child, but I can see how that probably would be a really, you know, traumatic experience to
Totally
kind
have
of
to choose.
kill, yeah, to abort a baby that you conceive with somebody. uh that just seems like, hey, you know what? I made a bad decision, and now that this kid is here, now I have depending on my situation, I have to choose to kill the baby. And then at the same time, like they got like other situations where it's like, they got, the R word, I don't want to get you
Understood.
demonetized
And
or anything.
no, yeah, yeah, grape with a G. But here's my thing is I'm all for personally, I'm all for choice. Like that's your decision to make. It's certainly not mine, and I don't want to be in charge of such a heavy decision.
Yeah,
Um when I brought up that example, it was like it was more of a priority, like the priority of being doing it independently, even having a kid and raising a kid by yourself seems to be more of a satisfactory route than marrying before you carry.
yeah, and that
And
sucks because there's
that's
no
what I'm
proof that it
that's what I'm
actually
talking
is.
about. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah,
I'm talking about, like, in a big scheme of things. Okay, her position, maybe she's like, no, I'm gonna take it anyway, regardless. But if you just look at the resume here, it's like, okay, you're already broken up, relationship is done. You don't have any faith in this man anymore after 4 years. Um, no one ever said raising a baby on your own financially is rewarding. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
you're not gonna get
it's
rich doing it. So I'm like,
it's
all these
never
things.
been
There's no,
something that people glorify, like, really, right?
yeah, but
Like,
I'm just
who
saying, like,
actually
there's no win.
glorifies it?
You don't
Yeah,
win.
there's no you don't win from it. It's weird.
So, but I understand if that's your personal decision. But me personally, I'm like, damn, man, I don't see how I'm gonna win on this one. Now,
Yeah,
the it's different if you were both in a relationship, had a baby, you split up. Okay, this one was already done. Like it's done. It didn't done
mhm,
yesterday. It was done for over a month. I was like,
mhm,
man, okay, right on. But that's that case. But in general, I think it's up to that individual to make their own decision as to how they want their life to move forward. It's not mine, but because you mentioned that court decision, and I thought it was just hypocritical when conservatives talk about their own choice to carry a gun or to use a gun and all this stuff. It's their right,
yeah,
uh, or when not to wear a mask,
yeah.
when not to get vaccinated. It's my body, my right. And then all of a sudden, when it came
It's
to,
kinda childish to me.
yeah, and then when it came to women, all of a sudden they're like, hold on now," and it was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a bit hypocritical. Does that make sense?
mhm,
So anywho, now let's talk about the we talked a little bit about single mothers, obviously marriage, missing fathers. Um, that's one thing. Let's talk about it. Let's touch that real quick. Missing fathers. First of all, I raised my daughter when we got divorced, and then you know, did the whole court thing, got custody, and she saw her mom part time. Now, I swear, I am not a unicorn. I know there's got to be other men out there who would dutifully, let's just say passionately, love to be in their children's life
mhm.
more than what we're hearing out there. Like, I swear there's like an epidemic, if we just listen to the media, an epidemic of men running out the door like Looney Tunes, "Dong," you know, and basically saying,
Run, bitch! Run!
just because she got pregnant, and then leaving everybody for the kid. I'm leaving everybody and the kid. And it's hard for me to swallow that pill. Like, it really is, especially when I just saw that video on TikTok where this dude, normal dude, trying to bring food, and he got reprimanded, his ass torn, just because he didn't feed somebody else's kids. And he just
Yeah.
said, fuck, he just put up his hands and said, man, I'm out of here. And how many times do we not hear the other side of the story?
I
And those
see
kids.
I see
I'm sorry.
a combination of 2 things. I see a
Okay.
combination of people that are men not understanding what it actually does to a woman when she does get pregnant, and
Hmm.
then seeing what the changes in hormones and stuff like that that women have to go through being pregnant, and at
Yeah.
the same time women being praised for the attitudes that they have during pregnancy instead of the actual women around them telling them that, hey, this is not you, this is the hormones that you're going through.
Mm,
Because guys, we're not gonna understand that. We're not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, that's the hormones. We see it as like, damn, I gotta deal with this. I gotta go through
yeah.
this. Like I'm putting, I'm going to work every day. I gotta deal with, work and
Stress.
the regular things of life. And then I come back to home and seeing, the person that I, care about kind of just push me down into the dirt. And
Dog
then
you out.
yeah, dog. And then you really want to be there, and for most cases, guys are still there. They're just not with the ladies, but the women, they're just upset that, oh well, you're not with me anymore, so I'm gonna make it as hard as possible for you, even though that you're single. Just to uh, like, it's praise to dog men out here now in these,
I
and
I
especially black men.
Oh, facts. I think I was just thinking about the other day when I was thinking about this topic, for the podcast here, and I was like, um, if we, if do Black Lives Matter to Black people? And I was like, let's talk about the Black man's position in society right now. If you're a single Black woman right now, you might as well be God, right
Mm.
underneath the white woman. You know what I mean? And in terms of protection, praise, celebrated, um, held to no accountability. You know what I mean? Like it just
Mhm.
goes down the line. And to me, it's just utterly shocking that um that how can I say, we're, as men, especially Black men, we're held accountable for every action we do. Ask the law, ask the ladies, ask just society in general, whether you're a bum or not, are you working hard or not. Um, the excuses that they use can't really be directly applied to us at all. Like we can, hell no, we can't use those same excuses. Does that make sense? We
Yeah,
would
black
be
men can't be black men. They can't be black men can't be men.
straight up. We
We
can't be
can't
black,
say we
and
can't say,
we can't be
hey, no,
black.
that's wrong.
We can't be black and men.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? We can't be either or. If we're a man, we're chauvinistic. If because me, I've realized that I've actually gotten more out of life by not folding on the fact that I'm a man and I appreciate and value certain traditional roles.
Hmm.
Okay. Now I don't want anybody to think I want Handmaid's Tale, but there were certain things that created a society or a community where there were families and there was structure,
Hmm.
right? And within structure and families, there's strength. That's why they decimated the Black family. I mean, that is just proven. Okay. And with that said, I'm not going to bend or fold. Then I attract the kind of people that are down for that. And then therefore, I've had healthier relationships. Now, when we're talking about what's going on right now, this is my point. Point is, as a man, if we're broke, like Kevin Samuels said, if you're broke, you only can blame yourself. I have to
Yeah.
look in the mirror and be like, damn man, I gotta step my credit game up. Just like you with your website. I gotta get my website together. There's no one I can blame. I feel
Hmm.
like what I hear on the other side is always someone else's fault. I mean, there'll be a list. There'll be either a man or somebody else, somebody at work, etc. And how can we begin to negotiate and plan for a better community when it's always someone else's fault? I ask you
That's the
that.
days. That's the days that we live in now. It's the days of blame everybody else.
Yeah,
It's
that
not.
and I,
It's you got to be open. You got to be vulnerable. You blame everybody else. It's like, well, there's a limit to that. You got to be able to critique yourself. You got to be able to say like, hey, you know what? I did this, and that led me to this point. No,
mhm,
regardless of how I felt about it, regardless of how, uh, you know, like my experiences were beforehand, and
yeah,
that
like
what led me to
personally.
this situation. Yeah, like to be able to understand and to catch yourself after the fact and say like, hey, you know what? I could have did this better.
Yeah,
I
and
could have
I
did
noticed
that better instead of.
the men are because that this is actually part of the thing I want to talk about. The no accountability. Some of the men are the same way. I'll be here.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times do we need to talk about? I mean, I get it. Slavery is fucked up. It's definitely affected it. We still see um the effects of it today. But damn, do we need to be so spiritually stuck in slavery as of every bad thing that happens to us? Oh, that's slavery right there. Here we go. This slavery. And I'm like, damn, bro, really? Because I swear, the only times I've gotten anything was when I just let go of all that shit and just hustled. It just worked.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Slavery
Yeah.
didn't stop me. My credit is up because I got it up and I stopped fucking
Mhm.
around and got real. It had
I got out
nothing
of
to do
bad
with
habits.
slavery. That's right. Slavery didn't keep me from getting out of bad habits. That's perfect. Exactly.
Hmm.
And I'll be quite honest, I do hear a lot of whining and shame, not shaming, blame gaming, and some shaming, because we
Shaming, yeah.
we'll point to other cultures and be like, man, well, they did, and I'm like, well, they came here with nothing, we had nothing, and we know America more than anybody else, but yet some of us wish to blame all their, how can you say, mishaps and how can I say, our shortcomings on anything else but ourselves. When I was
The system.
yeah, oh, I love that. Oh my God. Yes, you're absolutely right. The system. If I had a nickel every time I heard that shit. Yes,
Like, do
I
you
do.
really know the system? Really? Do you know the system? Do you know how you're gonna get to one place to another and not blame the system?
I know
Like,
that there are definitely roadblocks and speed
yeah.
bumps.
Mm-hmm. Like
My,
everything.
but my, that's right. That's right. Everybody has their own unique ones, and ours is very unique, especially in America. Granted, but to
Personally too.
use that as but we use it as an absolute excuse a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of time, why we didn't get X, why isn't in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're handcuffing ourselves to a big, what are those little balls they used to have in jail back in the day, put it to your ankle, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in the cartoons and whatnot. I feel like it's that. We just need to let go and just go hard. Um, I'm going to use Tyler Perry for this example. I mean, he literally created nothing out of something and created the largest film studio outside of Hollywood. This is a black man, came from nothing, sleeping in his car. I mean,
Mm.
damn, I don't know what other better example I can get
He
where
worked hard.
he worked and created something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just using
Now,
him as an
actually, he
example.
just he just used the things that he learned over a period of time and
Uh-huh.
amplified that in order for
Uh-huh.
him to, like, for everything else that he's short in to not matter. He
Gotcha.
used
Yeah,
everything that he already had to push him up to the where he is, instead of like saying like, oh well, I'm not good at reading, I'm not good at uh sports, or I'm not good
that's
at
right.
this
Yeah, he
and
was more
another. He
arts
said
and
like, hey,
whatnot.
I'm good at this. Yeah, I'm good at this and that, and this was gonna help me get to where I need to be.
Well, I think that's he's just one example of many, obviously, that chose to not allow their social the social construct in America when it comes to black people
And trauma.
totally define their ability to get what they want. You know,
Yeah.
um, James Baldwin didn't get any stupider just because back then they were hanging people from trees. No, he was still, to even to this day, one of the most prolific intellectuals that this country has ever made. So
Mm.
anyway, so that's what the no accountability. It's very interesting. Yeah, I find it in this. I guess that's just something I find unique compared to other cultures in America. Um, that we and oh, here's the other flip side of no accountability. It's hard to hold each other accountable.
Mm.
You
Because we
call
don't know,
call
because it's
somebody out right. Hey, call
a
somebody out right now and see all the hate that will come flying your way. Okay,
yeah.
all day. If you try to call, hey, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't, like on that video. I'm just use that video again on TikTok. Maybe you shouldn't have had four babies. When the first two didn't work out, or let's just say the first one. And in her next video, she did a follow-up video. Her nails were done, makeup was on fleek, eyebrows done, everything. But in that last video, she said she had no money to feed her own kids and she was waiting for child support on the 7th. Hold
She's trying to
that.
get another man. She's trying to get her
That's what
nails
I'm
is
saying.
done, her
She
hair's
said,
done. She's trying to get another one.
she said, if you're dating me, you should be paying for all my kids. Can you believe that?
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
now on top of that, hold on. Besides, she's looking on fleek. Um, Imagine trying to hold her accountable. What kind of flack you would get? Man, I'm telling you, Not only,
She
man,
got she got all the other women that are in the same situation, kind of praising her. That's
they'll
saying,
come
"Hey,
and
you
kung
know
fu
what? You
chop
gotta,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
he ain't no good. Yeah, he should figure. Oh man, but luckily, internet came swooping through and let her have it. But I'm
mm,
just saying, sometimes okay. Besides the fact that we realize, holding, we need to have a space where we can hold each other accountable and call each other out and not be called anti-black, etc. Because some of the shit needs to be said. If we want to get to that next level, whatever that is we think we need to get, you got to be accountable for your own actions. When I got mixed up with the law, I didn't blame not one person. I looked in the mirror and like, man, you fucked up. And
mm,
therefore I never fucked up again. And I think we could sometimes we can't miss certain experiences. If you live in the hood, you're around certain things, it's harder to get access to resources. I get it. When you admit that and you're like, okay, this is the game, these are the cards I'm dealt with, and you take accountability, then you could learn to maneuver around, or in your, like you mentioned earlier, make certain strengths benefit you and exploit those advantages you may have, whatever that is. And I think we have to be able to also hold each other accountable, man. I really feel like right now with the PC culture, we can't call each other out. Like, yo,
yeah,
ladies, WAP, really? That's women empowerment, wet ass pussy? Because to me, as a man, if you're making songs like that for the teenagers, how would you expect a man to respect these women when they just put it out there like that, like it's cheap, when it's their most important commodity they have?
hmm.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying, like that just does not.
That's the most important commodity for a family.
Straight up, they give birth to the next generation, but they just
Hmm.
give it away so easily due to a song download or a stream or whatever it may be, or just for a little clout in the club. And then they look at us as if they're like, why don't they respect us? I'm like, damn, you make songs called wet ass pussy. Like, I'm
I mean, they was doing that before that song came out, but
but
they
no, but
they kind of just like putting it out in the world, like, oh yeah, this is what we doing. We don't care.
understood.
We gonna talk about it.
Well,
We
no,
gonna
no, no.
rap about it.
Facts. No, you're absolutely right. That's just a reflection of where it came from. No,
It is
totally.
right now. Yeah,
Absolutely. But I'm
it's
I'm just using
crazy.
a song as
I
a
know.
direct example. But no, 100%. It wouldn't have came if there wasn't an attitude to support it. That's for sure. All
Yeah,
right.
we all wish that she said like, "Hey, I got this, but I still cook and clean. I still cook and
That one.
clean. I still got it, and I still cook and clean. That's how I got the ring."
Well, they'll call that one a dumbass bitch. You know what I mean? And
Well, they could be
eh,
dumbass single too,
yeah, that's pretty.
because
You ain't
apparently
lying.
she was married, right? She's still
Oh
married,
well.
right?
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, all of them are talking about being single and all this thottery, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
they're at home loving their man, rubbing their feet, and then they got
Making
their
money.
fans thinking this,
You stupid.
Uh huh.
You stupid.
and it's so damn true. So, all right, let's move on. Let's talk about it, man. Sometimes I swear we don't know how to handle our money. We don't know how to handle our money. Okay, so look at your lips, got tight as shit. All right, so I'm going to talk about it. Um, not saying all. We're just saying
Mm,
that what we choose to spend our money on reflects our priorities in life. That's as an individual. Period. We're photographers, so if I'm spending my money on a camera, lenses, etc., clearly that's just what I'm into, and it's directly in line with the business of me being a photographer. Therefore, you can see that's a priority in my life, right? If you're a plumber, it's going to be tools, all that shit, licensing, etc. I get it. That's your priority. But I mean, maybe I'm seeing things wrong. I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But you should not have a Mercedes Benz a beautiful one living in the hood in a crappy apartment. That doesn't make sense to me. Does not make sense when your car is worth enough for you to be living somewhere nice for a couple of years. Or am I Looney Tunes for seeing this shit or what?
I mean, unless you working as a salesman at Mercedes, you probably shouldn't have a Mercedes Benz.
I'm just.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a Mercedes in a hood and your doors is falling off and like you can't even put
Plus,
food on the table, it's like, dang, what? Really?
it
Really?
just goes into like, well, how we choose to spend our money. First of
Mm.
all, it's usually not in our community, right?
No, it's definitely not
Meaning,
in our community.
yeah, Gucci's not in our community. Mercedes
Mm-mm.
isn't. Lexus isn't. Do I need to go through the list? Versace, Louis Vuitton, all that shit. It's not in our community, but yet you'll be seeing dudes on a bus with a LV belt buckle. You know, it blows my mind. Not only does
We
it
don't
blow
even
my
have our
mind,
own money. We don't even have our own money in our own black-owned
banks,
banks.
facts. I can't even. Honestly, I can't even name you one bank that is purely black owned.
Citibank.
Oh, that's black owned.
Yep.
I have to research that. That's pretty. Is it really?
Hmm.
Oh well, you know what? I might have
I
to.
think it was originated out of Tennessee.
That Citibank is black owned.
Yep.
Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm gonna. Are you fucking kidding me? That is crazy. Okay, but I'm gonna research that because that's actually pretty good news. But in general, we don't. Even the liquor
No,
stores that pepper all throughout the hood is never owned by us. It's not Mr. Jones's or Johnson's,
it's Habish.
straight up, or Wong's, which I get it. They want to sell liquor where they're gonna sell it in the
Mhm.
hood. It's not gonna be in Walnut Creek. Um, so with that said, yeah, how we choose to spend our money is so important, but yet it's also a reflection. I mean, what do you think it says about us?
We're willing to spend it, but we don't want to invest it in our own family and our own generation. But at the same time, we having twice as many babies as like our white counterparts
Mm,
now. Uh, but we don't have a secure family, which is I mean, our population is rising, but we don't have a secure family. So what does that say? Like where is the
that goes back to our previous talk when we're talking about relationships, and no, you're right. Um, what are our priorities? I mean, that I think that we could hell, I could talk an hour about that. What are our priorities really? Because again, how we spend our money is a reflection of such priorities. And why is it a goal for many young youth to get a record label? Remember Dave Chappelle had that comedy when did you watch Dave Chappelle? Well, when
which
black
one?
people got he got the episode where black people got the reparations finally in the Dave Chappelle
I
show.
don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, you need to see that one. That was funny. So black people finally got their reparations, and of course, it was comedy, but of course, there was a reporter who's like, and a record-breaking amount of record labels launched yesterday. You know what I mean? Like this is where we're
Mhm.
spending our money, and of course, one man bought a whole truck full of Newport cigarettes and stuff. It was super funny, quite honestly. Uh, anyway, so it was really hilarious, but also at the same time, it reflected like, what do we spend our money on, and what does that say
Yeah.
about us, and where are we as a community, where in which that is our priority, X whatever that is, to look flossy when in reality, you know, you have Cash App, not a Chase bank account. You know what I mean? And
Ugh.
I think I'm not gonna lie.
It's
It's reflective in the music too. Not saying it's music fault, but we do it in the music. They rent cars,
yeah.
they
They
rent the
talk about
chick,
lean,
they rent
sipping on
everything is
lean,
rent.
a syrup, and like, dang, like we
That
kind of
but
like our vices are the things that we spend the money on. Like the things that keep us in the situation that we in are the things that we spend money on, and then we kind of just
so how do we
like
change this?
I don't know. I don't know. I really
Um,
don't know. Can you
God,
take can you
uh-huh.
take Hennessy out of the out of the black community? Can you take uh lean out of the black community? Can you take weed out of the black community? Can you take
Yeah.
like can you take all these vices, all these things that kind of keep us in an unhealthy situation out of
I
the
wish.
black community?
Mm,
Because if we were
I
healthier
certainly
as a
can.
black community, we would actually be able to pick ourselves out. We're not healthy. A black community is not healthy. We have high blood pressure. We have uh, uh, dementia is like high in the black community. We're unhealthy.
Well,
When
it's
we
funny
get
that
healthy,
you. Uh-huh.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say it's funny that you mentioned that because the next thing I want to talk about is health.
Hmm.
So that was a good segue there, brother. Um, yeah, I want to talk about it. I do see more than ever. I mean, okay, so at my gym, I go to a certain gym. Not gonna lie, I see a lot of white, Asian, Latina women there for sure.
Hmm.
I see some speckled black women. You know what I mean? Now the price there is only $10 a month. Okay.
Hmm.
For me to be on this StreamYard cost me $25 a month. So clearly most people can afford $10 a month. If you knock off the other shit we're talking about spending all the time. Um so again, we spend money where we feel is a priority. Okay. I do know that there's health conscious people. Women too. I do bump into them a lot more than ever that are more conscious. But why do you think we're, especially the women are most overweight than ever nowadays than they ever were? I was looking back at some Black Panther photos and the women were petite, fighting the power, kicking ass.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
They had
I mean,
packs.
in the
They had
Afro,
it all.
you know.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
these
look
chicks were
like
hard.
Angela Bassett.
Yeah, they were not, and these were not models. These were the chicks out there putting in work. Okay,
Yeah.
and what in the flippity flip flap happened since then? Good goddamn, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Cause on average, it's not looking righteous, man. I don't know what to say, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful in terms of looks and what your type is. I'm talking about health. I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
health. My grandmother passed away 2018, God rest her soul. Um, Literally because of her overweight and diabetes, etc. It built up and finally cooked, whoop, got the stroke, and that was a wrap. And she was a great woman. She's great grandmother to me, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but that could be somebody else's outcome. That could be a whole generation's outcome.
Yeah.
And that could have been totally avoided.
Mm-hmm.
Totally avoided. And I'm like, damn, it's almost like a fashion statement or some shit. Like, I don't know. On average, look, I'm a buck 40. Let's type, hold on. What should be the average woman's weight? You think I could do that? Hold on, let's see.
It was like
What
110
should
pounds.
be the average? Let's see, average woman's weight in America. Let's just say America. America. There we go. Good Lord.
Was it like 90
Okay,
pounds or
average woman
110
weight.
pounds?
Oh, damn. Good Lord. Well, the average woman weighs right now 20 years old, 170 pounds at
Ooh.
5'4". That's
At 5'4"?
the average American woman right now. That's what it's saying. This is what I'm, hey man, this is
Whoa.
healthline.com. Okay.
Mm.
How much should I weigh? Okay, let's see. We average weight for women. Okay, that's that. Damn, that's crazy,
I
bro.
think that's probably like the highest you can get before like you obese, overweight.
5'4",
That's a lot
170.
for
That's
a
the
5'4".
average women's weight in America. Yikes! I didn't even get to black women yet. That was just America. How much should I weigh? Okay. It doesn't even oh, that's body mass, and that's a lot of typing I gotta do in. Um,
I think for men it's like
5'11".
150 pounds.
Yeah. So women, is this for women? Oh shit, I'm tripping on this damn. I'm on rush.edu. I don't know if this is for women or not, but oh yeah, okay, copy that. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh, dang, oh lord. Okay, so I am 5'8" or so. Okay, so 125 to 163. Obese is 197, 256. So if the average woman is 164 to 170, that means she's in the average woman is overweight. So there you go. And
Hmm.
obese is one at my height would be about 197, 200 pounds. Now that 4'11 girl, oh, she's oh shoot. At what did I say? What was it? 4'11. Did I say 4'11?
Five
No,
four.
5'4". Okay, let's go to that. Uh, yep, she's in the overweight because it's up to 173 for overweight. 174 starts obese, so she's in the overweight obese category. That's the average
Mhm.
in America. It didn't say about black women specifically, but we could do the math. We all see. We got eyes.
Half of
Um,
commercials, or half or more of commercials online is about food.
why are we celebrating unhealthy? That's what it seems like. Lifestyles.
And if you think about the
Why do you
gym,
think we
I know
celebrate
you're.
that? Because I know some people may call me body shaming because I'm saying something like this, but I'm not shaming. I'm literally saying the health
It's a
wise.
tech.
I just
It's taking accountability out of the experiences or the
bad
habits, the
bad habits.
lifestyle. Yeah,
That goes back to what we're talking about. We can't hold anybody accountable,
no,
especially women. That's for goddamn sure.
your
Otherwise, you'll
body
be a
shame,
man.
man.
You'll be
You're
misogynistic and all that other good stuff.
you're
But
fat phobic.
fat phobic. Let's go through the list. But for me, it's really a health issue. It's not about whether or what I'm into or not. Um, um, that it's a health issue. Like, I think it's a lot different if you were big and you were always in a gym and you're working and you're doing. I'm like, man, rock your shit, man, do your shit.
Mhm.
But just to be owning it and just loving it, like I hate to say it, Lizzo, yucko. And that's a perfect example of oh hell no. And I don't understand how that's a symbol of empowerment and all this other. Oh my god, that's so it's a bad health. That I just see heart attack. I see heavy breathing. I see sweating for no damn
Life
reason. It's just bad.
lifestyles for women aren't really active. When I think about it, a lot of women are sitting down.
Okay.
They're working jobs that are like so.
Oh
You
yeah, go
know,
ahead.
they there's a lot of jobs that they're like, kind of sitting around. I mean, other than the
Mm,
nurses they
mm.
actually look fitter. You look at
Oh, because
nurses
they're
because they're
moving
walking
more.
around. Yeah, they're not doing. Guys tend to work jobs that are actually more physical, and then they actually doing more things. You see
What?
guys that are super overweight. Either they
I'm
have like bad eating habits, or
yeah.
they're sitting at jobs or sitting in desks and stuff like that. So
Here, I'm
that's
gonna
what
keep
I
it real.
see.
I'm gonna keep it real. Here's the reason. Okay.
Okay, go
One.
ahead.
Okay. When it comes to women in that situation, um, damn it, I just had it on my mind. I was listening to you talk. First of all, women, son of a bitch.
You lost
Um,
it.
I certainly did. Damn, I had a great point. I should have just cut you off. Uh, 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 when, um, obviously they're not held accountable, right?
Mhm.
Oh, this is it. There's no more shame when it comes to men. I'm like, bro, man, you look a little chubby, bro. What the fuck?
Mhm.
Quit them donuts. You wouldn't take it personal, not one bit. You might laugh, say fuck you, whatever, and we go about our day. Say that shit right now, you will get canceled in 2 seconds saying something like
People,
that. If you said
people
that to a
sensitive.
homegirl, does that make sense? Like you cannot. Women used to be ashamed for being overweight or feeling like, damn, I need to step my game up. I need to go to the gym. I need to do a few more walks, or I need to eat better. Now, because of Lizzo, or at least examples like Lizzo, and the whole anti-body shaming agenda, you there's no more shame. Say, fuck it, take me as I am. And if you don't like me, you know what? You're just misogynistic. So there you go. And
People sensitive.
does that make sense what I'm saying or no?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because then when I hear you, I'm hearing like people are just kind of like, you know what? I don't care what you got to say. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and it's your fault that you feel that way, and it's not my fault that I am the way that I am because
It's always
I am
somebody
me.
else's fault. Yep.
Yeah.
Always no accountability. It's always someone else's fault.
Mhm.
I'm big. What? Because you're body shaming. Wait, me noticing this situation is the reason why you're already obese or overweight or unhealthy. Now, don't get me wrong now. Brothers know how to be unhealthy too.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm all down for some weed, but goddamn, okay. And it seems like we have some serious bad habits as well. And some of it is that one of our habits, when we're talking about the women, is that we condone it through our silence. We condone it through our silence without saying, hey, this is not looking good. It's not looking good for you. But at the same time, it's not like we're introducing organic food into the household ourselves. We're not rushing out to Berkeley Bowl. So
Yeah.
I hope to God that we find our way back to, or at least a consciousness of healthier eating. And I know there's a large segment of Black people that do. So I'm not talking about them. I'm just saying what's out there, what's popularized, what's celebrated is not that. And
Mhm.
what was I about to say? And dang, I was about to say something too. Shoot, I think I'm getting
What we
hungry out of here.
what we
Talking about
could
this
say
damn
also,
food.
since people are so sensitive, what we could say, like I was
Mm.
just thinking about it. It was like what we could
Okay.
say is like, hey man, how you doing? Are you okay? Or hey girl, how you doing? Are you okay? I see, you kind of, gain a little bit some, like
Yeah, come on,
it's
man.
not
You
like
already know where that.
damn.
You already know where that. Because the
No,
problem
but
is, we'll
like
get
in
shamed.
in
We'll
a
get shamed.
personal, it's not
Uh-huh.
the same if you go out and you talk to somebody, person to person, you kind
Yeah.
of pull them to the side and say, "Hey, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" And then people are like, "Okay, I'm opening up. Something is going on. I'm eating a little bit more because maybe I'm stressed. Maybe I got a bad habit that
Yeah.
it's kind of dawning on me. Like, dang, like
No.
I can't figure out this weight issue. I know I'm getting heavy, but I can't figure it out because I got so much stuff going on. So like a person to just say like, hey, you know what's going on? Like, are you okay? Because I know people are sensitive. You know what I'm saying? People are getting more
Absolutely.
sensitive nowadays. So
Absolutely.
that's all I'm saying. That's what I
I think
when
it
I
comes
hear
from
people
a.
talk about it.
I think it comes from a serious case of insecurity.
Yeah,
So, all right.
yeah.
With that said, last thing, believe it or not, let's talk about our image. Okay. And what I mean by that is like how we dress, etc. Now, of course, being Black, we're a culture that is continuously refining our identity, which I think is beautiful through our
Mm,
music, through our attire, how we dress, how we talk, how we walk. I think that's fantastic. I think that's what makes us specifically unique as people from the African diaspora, right? Now, but there gets to a point where enough is enough. God damn it, enough is enough. And I'm gonna have to start it off with sagging pants. I'm done. I'm done, people. I'm sorry. Okay. I am done.
Nope.
Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Please. Especially if you're over 21. I'm putting a cap on this shit right now. If you're over 21, talking about you gotta get the bag, but your pants look like a sagging bag, I can't take you serious anymore. I'm sorry, I'm done.
It's not even
I've
that
never
anymore. It's
huh?
we got kids out here in skinny jeans sagging.
Man, we see I'm seeing adults, I'm seeing everybody joined it. And I'm sitting here like, bro, I see your fucking underwear. I see your underwear, bro. Like, how do you want another man to
It's a
see your
style.
drawing?
It's a thing. It's a
I,
style.
that's why I say it's gotta go. It's gotta go.
Yeah.
Nope.
Exactly. It's gotta go.
It's a style that can't convert into something more professional. You can't change that over into something that looks good, like good in a professional manner. That's just something that just has to go.
But let me say, if I'm running from the police, how do I look like running down the street holding my? I've seen it, and I'm like, oh my god, look at this fool run, holding his pants up. Oh my god, you look like the most klutziest
bust their whole face up.
You feel me, gangster? I haven't seen in my whole damn life. What in the fuck is going on? Now, I don't mean everybody needs to wear slacks and all that other shit, right?
Yeah.
But it gets to a point where I'm like, damn, man. Out of all the fads that came and gone, this shit just seems to never leave.
It's stuck. Yeah.
Stuck. And I'm like, God damn. No other race does that mimics pants like a homeless person. I just saw a homeless person. What was it? Yesterday. His pants were so damn, but he had no belt. He's home. He's down and out, right?
I mean,
and I'm
he has like a reason.
Thank you. And I'm like, man, you do that with a Gucci belt? I do not spend $500 on a belt buckle so I can wear my pants by my knees. I'm like, how is that here? And I'm gonna blame some of the women for this. How in the fuck you allow men to be walking around showing their ass to other men and then saying that's manly? Help me out. I don't get it.
Because it's from a certain environment. It's from a certain environment that they reside in, and then that's all they.
How do we look like as men to other cultures? How do you think they look at us, and therefore how do they portray us when we step into a particular situation? Let's say trying to get buy a house, buy a nice car, when we need negotiating power to be taken serious as men. I mean, let's just be honest. They're looking at us like clowns, man. They're looking at us like damn, really, clowns out here. I simply can't.
You look at both. You look at any race out there. We all got those kind of people that just don't care that they're gonna be who they are, and I mean,
well, every time we're gonna take a fat L, we're gonna take an L every time, and
because we're the minority.
In the big scheme of things, when we're trying to have negotiating power amongst other cultures, our identity does matter. I don't care what anybody says. Forget Martin Luther King. People your look does matter. Your image does matter. People judge you based on how you look, and that's just the cold hard facts. So when the police come and they already assume something, they're already going to do it due to complexion. These particular imagery does not help us at all. But but who am I? I'm just a fucking nerdy dude complaining. I mean, ranting on my own podcast. All right, now the flip side is now let's talk about the women. I want to start off with the men so that nobody thinks I'm sitting here just only talking about women. Okay, I'm gonna have to say this straight up and down. No one's gonna like what I'm gonna say. Okay, the fake hair. Okay, I'm done.
This shit's expensive.
I'm done. I'm done with it. Okay.
This
I
shit's
mean,
expensive.
black
Six
women
hundred
spend
dollars
more.
for hair.
I'm just saying, black women spend more on hair than most things I've ever would have spent on, and the prioritization of it. And I honestly don't know where the obsession is with fake hair, because I've met more men.
Apparently, we like it. That's what we want.
Yeah,
Apparently,
yeah.
that's what we want.
Where do you think that comes from? That apparently, just because we're down to bang almost any woman, whether they have fake or real hair, that all of a sudden that's what we like. I don't know where do you think that comes from? That myth of that's what we want.
I
Because
think
I appreciate just the real you, whatever that is, or at least allow
exactly.
me to. I mean, because you're lying to me all the time with the fake hair, so I would like to know the real you. So let's start off with some real hair. So, but
It's
I mean,
it's a real thing. It's a real thing when guys talk about, oh, I saw her at the club like this, and then when I got back home and I woke up, it's a totally different person. It's a real thing. And they don't I
absolutely.
don't understand the clap back at that, because like everybody wants to, nobody wants to be tricked. Women don't even want to be tricked.
I know, but their whole strategy is not diversion. You know, it's to trick you a little bit. That's why the makeup and the hair and everything else. Now, makeup, I get. Doing your hair, I get, absolutely. But it seems to be a unique obsession in our community with fake hair, weaves, and everything else. And those weaves, I heard a term. This killed me. He said the weaves pull the hairline back so far it's back into slavery. So I'm sitting here like, how? I'm like, there is no way physically in the long term a weave is beneficial to anyone's head. I'm trying to figure it out. If not, someone hit me up. Am I crazy
It's self hate.
247 at gmail.com? You know what I mean? Feel free to
It's
complain and bitch. But
it's self hate.
how does it, huh? What'd you say?
It's self hate. It's self hate. It's because they be like, oh yeah, I want that Brazilian hair. Oh, I want that Asian hair. It's another race. Why do you want to be another race besides who you are? You got nappy hair. You,
And and
I
and I
got
got a
my
secret.
regular dreads. I got my
Yo,
nappy
I
hair.
I got a secret to tell the women too. Y'all ain't blondes.
Nah,
You know what I mean? Like, quit it, stop it.
that stuff
But
does
you
something to
know
your
what?
scalp.
I like Brazilian hair on Brazilian women, right? Chinese hair on Chinese women, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Let's get back to African hair on African women or African American, whatever that is.
Natural,
Just do
natural
your
hair on a black
natural.
woman is beautiful.
Yeah, I just don't know why it's shunned or like it's ashamed. I mean, I know the historical nature, right? Black
Yeah.
women hated their hair. They got the irons and all that shit. There's a long history
Mhm.
of black mothers instilling into their daughters, your hair is nappy. It's not good. Um, it's not good enough. It's only good if it's straight, like the white woman down the street. I get
With
it's a
using the
long
hot
history.
combs,
Exactly, the
like
hot
tearing
combs,
up the scalp, like burning the
burning,
scalp.
burning the scalp. So no, I
It's
get there's a long indoctrinated history of self hate in that sense.
mm,
Um, but damn, educate like there's so much education. Like we need to stop this shit now. That is
and
no good.
colorism.
The colors like we really are. Just subconsciously, just through our actions.
Mhm.
And again, how do you think people are looking at us? It's horrible. All that colorful ass hair. And the next generation is these 5-inch nails. Uh, I,
The ones
I,
that curl
I,
all the way down to the palm.
I'm just like, they're like this all the time. They can't grab nothing. They just this, and it's
Can't even type on a computer, but you're an accountant.
can't finger snap, can't even pick. How do you wipe? Yeah, I want a woman to hit me up. How do you wipe your own behind? How does that work with them long ass nails? I don't get it.
How they wash
Who
their hands? Who's
who
who's
said that's
washing the
fly?
individual nail?
Ugh. I'm just
There's got to
saying.
be some
Where did
feces
that?
underneath the nails.
Well, help me understand when that became popular because I'm trying to figure that shit out. Okay, it's only got me, quite honestly, looking at them like Freddy Krueger, you know,
Mm.
and I'm out here like, yo, I better not fall asleep. They may come up and come and get me, but I'm trying to figure out why. I don't see any other race do that. So again, going back to the original thing about imagery, black people, we have being individual and unique is something that's beautiful about us. But there are certain things I think at the same time, like we said at the beginning, is also self-destructive. Not just
Mhm.
because we make up a a certain style that it's okay. That shit has to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shit has to go. And just because someone's black made it and another black person validated it, it's okay. No. That's why sagging ass pants, especially when you're after 21, gotta go.
Can I say
Okay.
something?
Uh, okay, brother. Hold on. Let me get you back up on here. Hold on. Go ahead.
Black women, stop whooping your sons. Stop it. You're
Huh?
emasculating your sons. Is is
Mm,
it's
I
turning
didn't
it's
think
turning
about
them into
that.
these guys that you don't like. Stop doing that. And that's
Interesting.
real.
What made you think that?
Because I'm thinking
Where'd that come
because I'm
from?
thinking about because I'm thinking about how the women our women, they go out and they buy all these things, they come back to their homes,
Uh-huh.
and like I seen this one video where this mother had her son burnt her weave, and she whooped his ass on I think it wasn't TikTok. I think it was back when
On
Vine
social
was.
media?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
he had burned her weave. She spent, I guess, she said something. How much she spent? Like it was $500 some dollars or something like that. But you know, it's your son. You whooped your son's ass off a weave, and then now your son has that in his mind of a woman beating his ass when he grows
Totally.
up.
That's
Now,
supposed to love him. That's supposed to love him, by the way.
exactly. So what example are you setting for the next woman that's supposed to come into his life and love him?
That sounds like, my friend, a whole another conversation. And right now,
Uh,
okay, brother, let me just switch this up right quick, my good sir. Okay, whoops. Okay, I'm pressing too many buttons. Okay, I think we had an amazing conversation. We
Thanks
went
for
all
having
over
me.
the place, quite honestly. You know what I'm saying? It was about I didn't expect it to be an hour and 45 minutes out here. God
That's how
damn
it
it.
is.
Huh?
That's
What'd you
how it is.
say?
That's how our
That's
conversations are.
that's how it rolls. That's right, baby. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it right there. But I do want to say I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sure you'll
Thank
be
you.
back when we talk about something else. Hopefully something more fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's do something fun next time. But I just wanted to get this off my chest and just talk about it again, hold ourselves accountable. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure a lot of people think I'm definitely wrong for some of the
You're
things I
not
said.
crazy.
Um, but I know some of y'all are thinking the same shit
Hmm.
and waiting for somebody to say it. So it's okay. I'll take my arrows. Um, of course, if you enjoyed this podcast, feel for wait, Derek, hold on, man. Where can people find you at, brother?
You can find me on Instagram at Derek Benton Photography. Also, you can check out my website at derekbentonphotography.com.
That's what's up, man. Okay. And before we cut out, make sure head on over to wherever it is that you listen to your podcast at and subscribe, follow us, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, Amazon. We're all there. Follow us, Am I Crazy Podcast, also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Okay. So make sure you go hit us up, people. Come on, man. You know what time it is. Like us, follow us, and subscribe to us on YouTube too. Um, with that said, I really appreciate you all. for watching us. If you made it this far, Derek, thank you very much. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, or just any topics you feel we need to talk about and ask ourselves, am I crazy? Because it just may drive us crazy. Send those comments and concerns over to amikrazy247 at gmail.com. Thank you for listening. See you later.